All right, good morning. Thursday, April 18th. We had jobless claims this morning at 8:30 Eastern, and we have existing home sales coming up at 10 a.m. in an hour. You can see on NQ, that's the candle. That's the news candle there, which wasn't terribly exciting. We already took out its high and its low, so it's pretty much meaningless at this point. I did take one trade in gold this morning, which was a loser because I gave it a really tight stop because I really didn't trust it. I bought this pullback here, and it chopped me out before it kind of went up. But I will point out, and really the reason I took that is because I was late to the party. The correct entry was right here. Was the break of this candle right here. Okay, so if you got in right here, it chopped for 2 minutes and then it took out the top of the range. And I don't know, you sit through the chop or you take profits up there, whatever you want to do. If you're at break even, you'd still be in. We've got gold, or not gold, we got oil that's blew through the overnight open right before open. And getting a strong push up. I really don't like where gold's at here. This choppy sideways action. It was okay in here, and then right here it just sort of broke apart. So I'm going to give it some time. I've been chopped up by gold too much. This kind of nonsense is not ideal, especially compared to if you look at yesterday, where we had much smoother. I mean, gold's always sort of choppy, but you know, you see these ups and downs. It's a little more rhythmic here, right? So high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. And then we have a clear change in direction. We have a clear break above the midline, clear retest, and that's where we went long yesterday. So that's what we look for. We want to see that. We want to see those waves. There's no waves here. There's kind of a choppy down, up, down, sideways, up, sideways. This is a low probability. So unless you want to give yourself a really wide stop here, not my cup of tea. We're gonna skip that for now. Maybe, hopefully, oil behaves itself this morning and gives us some opportunities. We'll see how it unfolds. I don't know how. Seems like every time this comes up, I say this, but I'm not sure how existing home sales affect oil. I don't think it does, but proceed with caution. Probably have more of an impact on gold and NQ. Had a good day yesterday, so let's keep that. Start a trend, a winning day trend. Gold's opened up a bit. Candles are bigger now. 30 tick candles compared to here. I don't know, those were big candles. And then they got very small. Then they got very big, then very small. I mean, this is technically testing the midline, but it's this is usually in gold. I want to see more of a smooth pullback. If it doesn't have more of a smooth pullback to my line or where I want to get in, then it's less likely to have a movement away from that, right? So if we're sideways here, we just come down for one tap. I mean, it could take off, but it's less likely to compared to if it sweeps up, comes back down, taps it, and then goes. Even if the sweep itself is a little choppy, that's fine. This is no sweeping going on here. In addition, we don't have any kind of agreement right now between the 15 and the 5-minute charts either in gold. So 15-minute chart is just wicks. Guess we can look at that real fast right here. So, I mean, it's going up, but it's a very, very, very slow roll. Five minutes, huge indecision candle here. So in this case, if we miss the move, we miss the move, but this is starting to look better, right? This is what we like to see. So if we get a push off here, preferably above highs, okay, we'd want to see it break into new highs. And then a pullback. Yeah, but this kind of stuff. Yeah. No bueno. All right, let's take a look at NQ for fun. To where my face isn't in the way. All right, so 15-minute on NQ. Let's get a daily look here. All right, so NQ's fallen. What is this line? This is a 105. It's kind of interesting. Look at this line. I mean, this is 105 period moving average, so I don't know if there's anything special about that. But this would be the red line. This would be the 5-minute red line if I was looking at a 1-minute chart. But kind of interesting on this daily chart. Look, we tapped it here. We held it here. We held it here. And now we're sitting on it here. So I don't know. Probably doesn't mean anything. We'll see what it does. We've had down close, consolidation, down close. We've had a very, very, very strong down move. It's Thursday, so what do you think? Thursday reversal, maybe? We've got this huge volume imbalance right here. Okay. That's where we got hung up at 2 days ago. And then whoop, right through the bottom. Kind of interesting. We have these kind of relative equal lows here on the daily. So that's kind of interesting. And we're in, let's see where we at. Yeah. Kind of tapped into this first fair value gap here, but there's a lower one, so what that's worth. But last time we came down, we rejected off of this, tapped into it, and pushed higher. So interesting to see if we fell here. I mean, I'm going to be bearish until it tells me otherwise. But the fact that it's a Thursday, the fact that we've pushed down, it'd be interesting to take out yesterday's lows and then push back up. That'd be nice. But I don't know. I mean, this is a strong drop until it gives me a sign that it wants to turn around. I'm not too interested in betting against it. Let's see, 90 days. Oh, hold on. We got to go back to gold because we had a tap of the midline. I don't really like this much. It's not bad, but it's not ideal either. Of course, watch it just rip off of here. Okay, well, I am in this. I'm in at 99.7. So we'll see. I'm right here. Not terribly optimistic about this one. The reason I'm not optimistic is just because it's been so choppy. Stop loss is right under here, which is going to get hit right about now. Maybe. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, this is one where technically it was a correct setup, but I don't know. My gut told me this is too choppy. I don't really have a metric for choppiness, but kind of you know it when you see it. It's pretty choppy right there. Anyway, all right, let's go back to NQ. Where are we at? 4-hour chart. We have these huge drops and then little pullback, big drop, bigger pullback, bigger drop, consolidation, drop. This wasn't as big of a drop though. What do we got over here? So here are the lows we looked at on the daily chart. We got one here and one here. So those are interesting. Worth watching, I think. Yeah, until we break out lower or higher, I'm not sure there's anything really. I don't see anything that gives me confidence one way or the other, so I remain bearish until it tells me otherwise. 15-minute, we've got this gap here, which seems to have held. So lots of indecision there. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, yeah. This is what gold does. Takes your money and then it runs away with it. So this is kind of interesting because, I got in off of this because we did have a test of the midline. If you look at this candle pattern, though, I would have been more confident in this one simply for the fact that this is a reversal. This candle pattern is a reversal pattern, which by itself may or may not mean anything, but combined with the fact that we're touching this level. And did push off of it a little bit, but still choppy. I mean, really what I would like to see is I would like to see really a break out of the range and then a return to test either the top or the midline. Just got to be patient for that. Oil's not doing anything. It's just sideways. Just chilling in here. We did have an inside bar on the 5-minute chart, which would have triggered you in short into the overnight open, though, which is not usually high probability. So we'll see how that plays out. Might just be a lot of waiting today. Notice most of the better trades show up between like 9 and 10. Right? They're usually towards the end of the stream. Maybe I should sleep in and maybe I should go work out in the mornings. Come in an hour later. Let the market chop around for a while and then come see what happened and take advantage of it. Really, the advantage to waiting is you wait for the market to kind of show you, tip its hand a little bit, and then you can decide whether or not you want to play with it. So here's an interesting side note on gold. If you had gotten in off of this candle over here, okay, so this would have been kind of the first setup that showed up. Even though we're super choppy, you would have got in here. Your stop loss would be below the entry candle in this point, in this case, which is here, which is right there. And even though we popped out and we got this huge pullback, we never would have hit that stop if we'd have kept that stop. And then eventually it does break through. And not, we'll see where it goes to, but I don't know, that's kind of interesting, right? Because that's what we saw yesterday when we had a big push up. Let's look at that. See, and this is what stopped me out yesterday because I was this thing right here. Did the same thing here. And pushed up. So it isn't quite as big of a push up, but it pulled back. This candle wicked down to the exact same level of this candle over here. I think I had my stop like, I don't know, right there maybe. And then it got another leg up. So interesting. So all these clues the market gives you. Oil just is consolidating downwards towards its friend, the overnight open. The open range is 38, so that's pretty good. I'd say that's about average. 54 on gold, which is also fairly decent. I'd say that's actually on a little bit of the higher end. That's thanks to the news, right? At 7:30 that wicked us up a little bit and then wicked us down a little bit. All right, this is what we want to see, though. We want to see this push up so that we can wait for a nice pullback. See what we can get. We've got, put our extensions on there just for fun. See where we can get to today. We've been in this long uptrend since early in gold. Pushed way down here at the very end of the trading day last night. Took out this low, and then from there it's been just retracing back up. It's got these big pushes. Big pushes, big pullbacks. So let's see if it gives us a big pullback we can potentially take advantage of. 5 more minutes till open. So I think I'm going to go take a quick break. Give it a minute or two here. See if we can get a pullback. See if this consolidation can end at open. And hopefully NQ kind of wakes up a little bit and can give us some opportunities today like it did yesterday. So I'll return momentarily. All right, open time. And remember, we have news in 30 minutes, so can't lose sight of that. Oil poked its head above the midline for the first time since the first 15-minute range was created. And so far, gold isn't willing to give us a pullback. Tough morning. The other thing that could set up for us in gold is if we get a strong push up and this keeps going, and then we get some kind of a reversal, especially on a higher time frame. Gold does like to do that sometimes, where it'll push really high and then just retrace way back down. We'll keep our eye open for that possibility. All right, NQ, strong drop. Gotta give myself some thicker candle wick so I can see him. This wasn't a very clean sort of retest of the midline, but it did do it here in oil, which took it to the top of the range. It would be ideal to see a little wick through with a pullback. And we did get an inside bar on the 5-minute chart as well. So this little down close candle was an inside bar. So if taking the break high would have worked in this scenario, profit would have been, what, 16, 17 ticks, which we got. So yet again, those inside bar strategies, this one would have stopped you out. Maybe. Actually, I guess technically you might still be in it, because this was an inside bar. How would this have worked? You got ticked in short, you'd be, if your stop was up here, you'd still be in the thing, but not so sure that's going to work out real well. I'm not sure how that strategy works either. If while you're in the trade, you get an inside bar going the other direction, is that a sign? That's probably a sign to exit, I would think. It seemed to make sense to me. Oh, look. Yeah, there goes gold. Without warning, we're just going to tank. How about that? Told you it was going to come back down. Didn't quite expect that, but you know. How it goes sometimes. Good grief. Okay. Tell me how you really feel, gold. Dropped 100 ticks. Just poop. This candle was what? 90? Yeah. Well, that means we can't really do anything with gold for a little while. Well, that was a big drop. Is it going to drop further? Maybe, but at this point, you'd have to have your stop up here. $1,200 stop. My confidence level isn't that high. Man, everything's dry. Did something happen? Oh, we got Fed speakers talking, right? What are they talking about? 805. Well, they've been talking for a while. What? 905 and 915. So unless John Williams dropped a bomb or something. Maybe he did. I don't know. Just seems like a really strong move out of nowhere. Well, we had a breakout. We're testing the midline. I have a really hard time taking a short here in gold. Probably shouldn't be worried about it, but so we did get a reversal pattern on the 5-minute. 5-minute candle, which would have closed at, of course, 835 right here, and then boom. If you're super gutsy and sold the close of that candle, you would have got paid well for your speculation. It's happening a little too quick for me. Well, I think whenever oil decides to break out of this range, it's probably going to move. Which way are you going to go? All right, let's try this. We broke out. We came back. We tested the midline. We're sort of hanging out here. So we took the break of this candle. I'm not really trusting gold right now, though, so we'll see. If it doesn't kind of move in our direction here, I'm okay just kind of getting out, but I'd like to see at least come down to the bottom of that wick, which I would imagine it will. It'll be 28 ticks from our entry point. Oops, we're losing NQ over here. There we go. Massive stop on this trade, which is the part I don't like. 39 ticks. What are you doing here, gold? Yeah, I'm bailing out on that one. I don't. This is probably gonna drop, but I don't like it too much because, well, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Mostly the reason I don't like it is because my risk is just too high, right? It could chop around in here for a while, and I don't really want to sit through a huge, massive pullback. I mean, look at these candle wicks, though. This is like. There it goes. All right, where's everybody else at? So the reason I'm kind of cautious with this is that this wick down here, actually, all this price action here, took out this low here. So, you know, the question is, are we going to continue to take out these lows as we come down? We may. I just don't see those as being super, super significant. Which means it just chops. So we'll wait and see. Oil is sort of, well, it dropped through the bottom of the range and the overnight open, so that's kind of good. Got news here in 15 minutes. I mean, look at this. If you ever wonder if these markets are manipulated, I mean, you can't tell me this stuff just happens based off of pure just kind of supply and demand. If we measure out this candle, this big drop that we had right there, top of the candle to the bottom, the high and the low, we retrace to exactly, like to the tick, 50% of this candle before it pushed back down again. Like exactly. I mean, is that coincidence? I don't know. Happens a lot. I think it happens too often for it to be called a coincidence. All right, we're retesting that midline in gold. Be nice to have some kind of confirmation on the higher time frames. That midline is also the 5-minute gold line, if for anybody who might be watching that. I mean, I should take this entry right here. I can't stomach 30 ticks worth of risk. So I'm going to sit it out. And Q retraced all the way back up here, which I'm kind of curious. I want to see this. All the way back to the optimal trade entry level. Corresponds with this fair value gap, corresponds with the 5-minute gold line. Only problem is you got news here in about 9 minutes. Otherwise, we got some confluences going on there. There's a pretty nice pullback too. It's not perfect, but it's not too shabby. Let's see if it plays out. All right, well, I'm glad I did not take that short because it failed. I don't like trading gold after a big move like that. One candle drop from the sky. Five minutes still shows potential short though. And there goes NQ. Would have got my 15 points I've been looking for. Would expect this one to come down to at least this level. Really, we'd be looking for it to come down to the bottom of the range. Maybe the news will push it down there. Who knows? I wouldn't put any money on that, but it could happen. Come on, NQ. You know you want to fall. Not in this trade, but it's kind of watching. So oil came back up to test the bottom of the open range, which corresponds with the overnight open. I think I'm just going to sit on my hands here until after the 10 o'clock news. And then we'll reevaluate, reassess. All right, NQ tap that exact spot. See if it can just push through it just a little bit. That'd be really nice. There it goes. It took a second to play out, but played out pretty well for 26 points. I think this so this over here, if we go back to gold, this is why I kind of like these reversal candle patterns, or I guess this specific. There's a couple, there's different ones, I suppose, but there we go. Oops. Let's change the color. Let's make it obnoxious. What's an obnoxious color? Cayenne. Yeah, that's obnoxious enough. All right, so this down close candle does come up. It wicks up above this up close candle and closes on its low. But I don't like it as much because it doesn't wick up very far and it closes at the same level that the prior candle opened. Okay, so towards the bottom of that candle. And I don't really like those as much. What I prefer to see is this. And again, I don't know why. It's just because I've been watching this stuff for a while, and these are the ones that seem to be better sort of signals. You have a stronger push up, and then this candle wicks up and closes down closer to like the midpoint of the prior up close candle. I don't know why, but I like those better. And obviously, if this wick, the further up this wick goes, the stronger the reversal likelihood is in my mind, right? So if I'm looking for an entry off this midline and I want extra confirmation, this really isn't a reversal pattern. We do have an inside bar here, so you could take that inside bar maybe. This one comes up and wicks it, but you know, it's just not as good. This one here, though, this is a good reversal pattern. And I mean, it's still chopped around a little bit, but it's coming down. And that's similar to what we saw over here, which is this reversal pattern. Let me move my box. I don't want to make a new one, so we'll just move this one. And this isn't a super strong reversal pattern, but this candle, this up close candle, which is kind of the reversal candle, closes towards the midpoint of the down close candle before it, which is better than this one that closed basically at the bottom of the other candle. And that worked out pretty well too. So it's just extra confluence. Two more minutes till the news. Existing home sales. See if it does anything. Man, oil is still just kind of bouncing around the overnight open. It's wearing it out. Okay, gold's giving us an inside bar on the 15-minute. It's giving us got a little bit of a reversal thing going on the 5-minute. So it looks weak to me. See if it gives us some kind of an entry here. Boy, NQ barely got through that line, didn't it? That's about as far as it wanted to go for the time being. All right. Do existing home sales matter? I'm going to say based on what I'm seeing, they really don't. So that's okay. The next Fed speaker isn't for an hour. Raphael Bostic. It's a very distinguished sounding name. Isn't Bostic like a tool brand? Wonder if they're related at all. Isn't it like Stanley Bostic? I'm pretty sure I have some Nell guns that are Bostic. Air Nell guns. I'm gonna have to look that up. Well, when I type Bostic into Google, it doesn't have anything to do with tools, so maybe I'm delusional. Oh, it's Bostitch. CH. Actually, Bostitch. So, yeah, not even close. But he is the president of the Atlanta Bank, or the Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank. Oh, goodness, this is boring. Down a little bit, down $250 or something. Because we took 2 failing trades. And nothing is making itself obvious to us. Nothing to do in gold, nothing to do in oil. I mean, I guess we should point out that gold did go to the 100% level, right? So, and we did get a retest off the midline. So, can't really say the market didn't give us what we expected it to give us. Honestly, I just missed this. Didn't I take a trade off of this? All right, now I got to add my things back on so I can see. Let's look at this. All right, so there are my exciting trades. Got a little excited on this one. Bought this little pullback, which fell immediately. Dumb trade. So that is not following the rules. See, I did that before I was on stream, so I went rogue. Had a tight stop, though, so damage was mitigated. We took this retest, which, as I described earlier, was technically a retest, but it wasn't ideal. So we got stopped out below this candle, which went, like 3 ticks more, and then turned around and went where we wanted it to go. Had we waited, or had we re-entered when this better setup happened, would have worked out perfectly for 71 ticks. So I can't really blame the market. Let's see, this one. This was basically a retest of the midline, just a lot of price movement. And we did push down, actually quite a ways. I mean, eventually we did get back down to the bottom of this wick, which would have been 30, but then it pulled back. So, it was choppy. We got out a little bit better than break even. Then we got a pullback and a reversal pattern at the midline, and now it's kind of sort of coming lower. So this one has yet to play out. Let's flip our lines over. We almost got to the 100% line low with this push, but not quite. Now we're rocketing up the other direction. So I would not consider this to be a strong reversal pattern here, just because this down close candle is so weak, right? We only ticked up like one tick, and then we just kind of held here. So we'll see what happens, but that's my... So I wouldn't be too excited about that one. May still work, but... It's more like a little hesitation. I'd be more inclined to actually go long here. All right, let's see if this holds. What's my risk here? 15. Yeah, I'm not liking this much. And we're out. Gosh, are you serious? If this turns around, I think I'm gonna be done with gold today. It's just playing with me. Let me move this over. If that literally stopped me out to the tick, I might just take that personal. That's just not cool. At this point, I'm hoping it just dumps because oh my gosh. That's unreal. Look at that. So I even held my, I'm like, okay, well, where would the stop? I mean, I guess, realistically, you'd probably want it to be like down below this candle, right? To be really safe. This still may not go anywhere, but I was like, well, you got these two wicks. So I'm not going to put it just one tick below. I'm going to put a couple below. So, I put it like 2 or 3 ticks below. Take basically the break of this candle. I waited for a little pullback. So I didn't get in right away, but ticks me out exactly. That's crazy. So the question is, are we supposed to flip short at this point? I'm not so sure. All right, NQ. I need you to bail me out again like you did yesterday. Oh, that's crazy. What can you do? Let's see. Oil's holding the. Well, we're still dancing around that overnight open. NQ's pulled back up into this initial fair value gap from this morning. think I took an oil trade too. Where's my oil trade? Oh, I guess not. No trade in oil. Well, it really only gave one nice little kind of retest of the midline, but it was trading into the overnight open, which we don't really like to do. I mean, this time we pushed through it a little bit, but Line Q is really hung up right here. Gold is coming back down. And oil still not going anywhere. So what do we think? Is gold retesting the bottom of the range? Or were we retracing from the push down earlier and now we're ready to go lower? We appear to be in something of a channel right here. So just watching to see how it plays out. Let's see. Might work on some other stuff while we're sitting here watching this do nothing. All right, is this when gold breaks through the bottom of this trend and hits the 100% on the downside? Maybe. Okay, NQ pushed up, finally broke that fair value gap, touched the overnight open. Broke out of that little consolidation range we've been in for the last, what, 20 minutes? All right, maybe this is where it's going to get there. It's trying. All right, so it broke through that previous low. Now it's got to see if it's willing to take out the next low. This one was a much trickier one because I mean, I guess technically this was the entry right here because we had to pull out, we had to pull back, and it did drop a little ways. 49. Very, very choppy. Came back up, held that line again. I mean, there's no real clear direction right here. So I feel like any entry here would have been fairly speculative. But then we did drop. We fell through. Kind of interesting that we inverted this for a value gap and then came lower. Came back up, retested it. Now let's see if it hits. Let's move this line down so we can see where that lower wick is. We gotta take that out. And there it goes. Plus some. So, yet again, we hit the 100% of the range off of the opening range midline in gold. So the trick still is to not get faked out, to not get chopped out, and to be patient and wait for the good entry. So this one gave you a really good entry. This one didn't. Right, I took this actually the exact wrong way. Which is something I've done. And it can be tricky because if you have a strong push through, it can wrap this line, right? It closes above it, closes below it, and then continues up. I guess in context of this move, though, we have a strong push down, so really our bias should be bearish here until we break this high, essentially, which is, way up there. We should be looking for a reason to go short. And so you know, you could have said, okay, I'm going to go short at this the break of this candle, which didn't break until right here, essentially where I got stopped out on my long position. So I guess technically, had you done this and you said, okay, well, my stop needs to be at the pivot high, which is way up here, 30 ticks away, it would have been safe. And it eventually dropped from that point, which would have given you 69. So we got 71 off the first one, 69 off the second one. Really tricky entry here, though. So not, I don't really feel bad that I missed this one. I mean, I wish I would have got it, but it wasn't like an obvious entry. This is the one I should have seen. All right, this was an obvious entry. Problem was I just got stopped out, and so I was distracted by other things and didn't see the opportunity to jump right back in and capitalize on that move. So it's still nice to see that the market does pretty predictable things, really. You know, how it gets there changes day to day, but the signs are there if you're looking for them. Let's get rid of this line and this line. So overall, I can't complain. Not as nice as yesterday. Still didn't overtrade. This was the only boneheaded entry. The other ones had, I think, reasonable logic behind them. They fit the criteria well enough to be, you know, reasonable trades. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too bad. Now, what remains to be seen is how far does this go? Oftentimes when gold fells significantly on one side, right, 50%, 100%, and then it starts to go down the other way, sometimes they can go quite a ways. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning we'll take a look and see where it ended up. See if we end up all the way back to the overnight open, which is a possibility. It's a long ways down there. That would be 200 from the midline. Probably a stretch. Who knows? All right, it's time to flip to NQ. What time is it? 9:35. I guess oil, was there anything really in oil? No, we're playing at the overnight open, which is not where I like to play. We didn't even get a rejection off of it, right? We kind of blew through it here, came back, tapped it, and sat there. So, I mean, now we're falling, but this is the closest thing we got to a midline test right here, and wasn't that pretty. And it got some major pullbacks before it finally dropped. So, I mean, you know, you could say, well, there's candle structure here that kind of gives you indication that it might be getting weak, but that's all stuff that's really easy to see in hindsight and not so obvious, you know, when you're kind of in the moment. At least for me. So, I'm fine with that. All right, I'm going to maximize NQ here. See where we're going. So when we pushed up, we created this order block, which was what was retested here before the bigger push up. Created a fair value gap, held that fair value gap, pushing up. So the question is, what are we taking out up here that's interesting? So let's go to the 15-minute chart. So this is the first 15-minute fair value gap that was created on the way down this morning once we retested the London lows here, which we basically retested. Didn't quite get there on this candle. And now we're pulling back. Still have 5 minutes left on this candle though, so kind of see where it closes. Let's see, target high. Well, we took out this wick here. So actually, let's mark that. So if we were to hold above that, I think that would be important. Then we've got this. Then we basically got London highs. Well, no. I don't know. I think I'll throw this one here. So I'm going to mark out some of these levels just so I can get a sense of where we're at. Do we take that out? Yes, we did. Okay. All right, let's walk through this. So what did we see? We saw a strong push down where we took out yesterday's lows. We also took out some lows from like a long time ago. And now we kind of bounced off those back up. We know that on the daily chart, we've had 3 or 4 down close days in a row. So the fact that we've now taken out lows from prior days and have retraced leads me to believe that we could potentially be bullish from here. You know, we got equal highs here, Equal highs here. So we definitely have some targets up here that would not be unreasonable to expect to see hit. And they're like 16, 17 points a piece. We've retraced up above the overnight open. We broke our opening range. We retested the bottom of our open range. Now we're pushing back up. Any kind of a stop loss would have to be below this candle. There's no inversion here. Best right now, it would be a retest into this fair value gap, but it's 944. So all of that to say that I think we're going to go higher, but I don't really have an entry. All right, we'll see what happens here. We took out this high. We have a singular fair value gap, so not too excited about the possibility of shorting this, but we got 11 points to there. Almost 20 to the overnight open. Other stuff below that, so maybe. But it's not coming back down yet, so might be a non-issue. So far we've reached the 200% on gold. That'd be 135 from the midline. It's a pretty small gap, so that's good. And didn't invert quite yet. Some good momentum down though. Probably coincidence. It's kind of funny how this wicked right up and touched that line. My random trend line. There. That's fair value gaps holding for now. Where are you gonna go? I think it still wants to go take out all these highs. Equal highs, equal highs. Lots to do up there. Lots of orders waiting for you. The question is, when are you going to do it? I don't think it's a matter of if, it's when. So if we think the objectives are above us, then what we really want is we want an impulsive move down so we can get an inversion and a long entry, right? So maybe it's got to come take out these lows, maybe touch the overnight open before it can pick up enough steam to continue higher. Just talking through scenarios. On the other hand, if we just hold right here, then guess we'll wait and see. Maybe we're still getting higher lows here. Low, low, low. In 30 seconds, we see if we've got a lower high. Nope. Not sure we can call that a lower high. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this trend line because it's just confusing. Just consolidating in here, waiting for it to do something. Give it 5 more minutes to do something, and then we'll take a break like we always do. Unfortunately, today we're down, so may have to kind of keep an eye on things today, see if it gives us an opportunity to improve our position slightly before the end of the day. All right, well, we got there's the move up. So we're holding that gap, we're moving up. Gonna keep an eye on this though, because yesterday I caught the impulsive move at this time of day, right? So I caught a piece of it. It was moving down at this point yesterday. And then I was done for the day, which is fine. But then shortly thereafter, it reversed, gave a really nice reversal setup and a nice long setup. So there's always what goes up must come down eventually. So in the case of today, we've already had a strong push down, and now we're kind of working our way back up. But if we get a reversal ladder at some point, that we don't want to miss that, especially since we're still looking for a trade. So we'll shift our fair value gap up just to see what we see what it does. Got to remember where these lines were. So these are these equal highs. We still have kind of these relative equal highs up here. And of course, London highs are way up there. So there's still juicy targets above us. It's just kind of slow grinding its way up there. It's a 13-point gap. Bottom gap to first target low is 14, so prospects for a short aren't all that enticing. There's not a whole lot of room there. On the other hand, if we do what we did down here and we're just coming back for a retest as we continue our move up, then as mentioned previously, we do have good targets up there. Oh, don't go all the way. Come on, don't do that. So we'll dabble in this risky counter trend stuff. Stop is above the fair value gap there, and target down below. Should probably target this one here. I'm not gonna play around with this one though. I might. All right. Yeah, let's move it to break even. Nope, not playing with that one. That was a strong up close candle there. So since we're counter trend, I'm not gonna give it room to play out. Gonna flip back out here so I can see what the 15-minute chart looks like. Oh no, we're showing weakness here. Oh, look at this. Gold is all the way back up to the bottom of the midline, or the bottom of the open range. I mean, that looks pretty weak. It's 10 o'clock, so we have a Fed speaker, I think. Well, it's 10 o'clock Central, so 11 Eastern, which that was the Bostic guy, right? We were talking about earlier. Raphael Bostic. Not sure the market cares too much what he says, but he is speaking, so. Just another random variable that is out there. I'm not sure who he's speaking to. It's kind of funny that it just lists that they're speaking. the heck? Oh, he's at the Atlanta Business Chronicles 2024. Gotta actually open the article here. What's today, the 18th? It only shows me. This is so weird. Go to Google and it pull up, and I just, Googled him basically. And the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, it's got a thing, speeches, and then its little blurb has, Atlanta Fed president speaks to discuss his latest thoughts on the macro economy and monetary policy at the Atlanta Business Chronicles 2024 economic ... And then I click on it, and it takes me to like an old calendar that has nothing current on it. Who knows? Economists talking to economists about what they think the economy might do, which then has the effect of making the economy do stuff. All right, NQ, do you make up your mind? I mean, very technically, the entry that I got in on would still be in play because we never closed above that fair value gap, so we never would have been stopped out. Currently, we'd be in profit a little bit. But it would have to break. Well, actually, you know what? No, we would have been break even because as soon as, let's see, had we been holding it, as soon as price dropped below this, what was created here, we would have moved to stop to break even. We would have been stopped out. So it would have been a break even trade. I think we lost 3 points on it. So basically break even. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. All right, well, I might call it there because this is just slow and boring. Of course, the longer it's slow and boring, the closer we get to it being more interesting. You never know when that's going to happen. So we'll keep watching it. But that's it. I think trading today was okay. Little bummed I missed, a good entry. But even though we took some losses, I don't think we didn't take losses doing anything irresponsible. Just not quite as dialed in as we would like it to be. So we will be back at it tomorrow. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you later. Bye.